Underground tunnels are standard operating procedure for many of Mexico's drug kingpins. Investigators say they're how cartels secretly get around town, escaping from safe house to safe house. Well, El Chapo Guzman employed an extensive underground tunnel system. After his arrest last year, CNN's Nick Parker went inside some of those safe houses, and he got an up-close look at how elaborate these tunnels really are.
On this quiet residential street in the Sinaloa state capital of Culiacan, with a school just across the street, is one of 5 Chapo Guzman safe houses. We're going inside to take a look. Before even entering, cameras and reinforced steel doors reveal the priority of security. I think one of the first things that really hits you when you come in is just how modest and basic it is. You know, a small little kitchen. Some of the bedrooms here are pretty dingy. The Marines tell us this was part of his strategy to have a very modest accommodation so that he could hide in plain sight. In almost every bedroom of the house there are 2 TV screens, one for security and one for TV. But when you go into the bathroom, the picture of a normal house really does transform. Beneath this bathtub, a secret tunnel. So if you climb down the steps, you find yourself in the tunnel itself, and you can see it's been quite carefully constructed out of wood. You have to crouch a little bit, but you're quite mobile, and there's an electricity system running throughout it. The nearest other safe house from here is 3 kilometers in this direction. The constructed part of the tunnel ends here, and if you go through this door, you find yourself in the sewage system of Culiacan, an ideal escape route. And the tunnel system comes out right here in another safe house just down the road. And as you can see, it is a very similar setup to the previous one. In all the houses, evidence of life suddenly suspended. The minutiae is often interesting: a child's slide, Christmas decorations, and a fondness for mayonnaise. This safe house is perhaps the most significant of all of them. This is where Chapo Guzman escaped from when he was being pursued by Mexican Marines. They broke down this door and found they had missed him by 8 minutes. And this is where he fled to, through this bedroom and into this bathroom, where, as you can see, there is another escape hatch underneath this bathtub. Mexican Marines tell us they discovered this entire network of underground tunnels and safe houses when they arrested the head of Chapo Guzman's security, and he gave them this information. It once again underlines the very central role of intelligence in the arrest of one of the world's most wanted men. Nick Parker, CNN, Culiacan, Mexico.
Incredible to see that. Well, the prison that housed El Chapo Guzman was considered, quote, very secure. It was supposed to be the most secure in the country, and it even received stellar evaluations. But Guzman's spectacular escape has turned into one huge embarrassment for Mexico. Joining me now is CNN legal analyst Philip Holloway. The U.S. saw this exact scenario playing out. Now its fears have come true. This escape raises serious questions about Mexico's criminal justice system. I mean, should we really be surprised that this happened, Philip?
I don't think anybody on the north side of the border is surprised by it. If Mexico is surprised by it, they've got to be fooling themselves, because this guy is a master of escape. We knew this. We've known it for years. These tunnels, this tunnel system is their signature way of getting things and people across the border and, in fact, out of prison. So how it's a surprise to anybody is beyond me.
Well, and we talked about the fact that the U.S. wanted to extradite him last go around when he was captured. Why wasn't he extradited then?
Well, back in January or February of this year, the United States made a formal extradition request. Even before they received it, Mexico said quite flippantly, we'll let you know in about 300 or 400 years after he finishes serving his time here. They were, I think, assuming that he would serve out his prison time. We knew better than that. We wanted to get him here so we could get him into a supermax where he would spend 23 hours a day in a cell and not really be able to get out.
And some of his enemies in the drug cartels, they have been extradited to the U.S., so there is precedent for that.
There is, and that, I think, speaks to just how powerful and how far the tentacles of this organization reach into probably all facets of the Mexican government and the entire Mexican criminal justice system.
So why do you think he fought to not be extradited to the U.S.? I mean, clearly he didn't think he could use the same sort of manipulation and power here as he did in Mexico.
Well,
right?
we know that he has his tentacles into the U.S., but probably not to the degree that you could tunnel underneath the supermax out in Colorado, for example, and go out in a tunnel that has lights and you know, ventilation and a power cart to get things out. You're not going to do that in the United States. You're not going to do that to one of our supermax prisons. But Mexico is entirely different. Their prisons are not quite the same. So when you infiltrate the criminal justice system, you infiltrate the prison management, if you will, or if you become the de facto management of the prison, you can get out just the way he did.
So if he's captured again, which of course that is the hope, what happens then? Do you think then he may be extradited here after what we're seeing in this case?
Anything's possible, but I think really this could be a blessing in disguise if the United States can manage to capture him somewhere else in the world and then bring him to the United States to stand trial. We have indictments in I think 7 or 8 different federal jurisdictions throughout the United States, and so if we can arrest him and bring him here now that he is on the loose, so to speak, it might be a blessing in disguise that he's escaped.
Really quickly though, do you think then in that scenario that he's left Mexico, or do you think Mexico is probably the safe haven for him?
Mexico is his safe haven, so if he's playing it smart, he's probably still in Mexico, but I really don't think we're ever going to see him again.
Really? Is that right?
Right.
All right, Philip, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
And